Good morning, Dr. Bill Williams here with the Influencers Live podcast, and we're coming to you live from Atlanta, Georgia, as usual. We were talking, though, to Helen Fu Thomas, co-founder of AnyQuest AI today. This is a very interesting topic. AI is on the tip of everybody's tongue, and Helen is a expert at AnyQuest AI. She is the co-founder, so that means she is a principal. She is visiting us on the Influencers podcast to influence us about what is AI, what does it have to do to help us. Helen, tell us all about what the heck you do. How did you get started and find the path to the AI, path to helping people out? This is a topic we really want to understand.
Thank you, Dr. Bill. Thank you for having me. It's been quite a journey. I came to this country almost 30 years ago, got my MBA from UC Berkeley Haas Business School, got my career started at Leapfrog. Many of you may have Leapfrog product, educational, interactive platforms for children's education. Almost 10 years ago, I got involved with AI, and the company is called Rival Theory, which is to integrate AI with gaming education. But 10 years ago, nobody really wanted to touch it. 2019, I got recruited from my previous company to a company called Dark Matter Artificial Intelligence, DMAI Inc. And the company was founded by computer scientists, AI scientists, and both of them are very well known, and they raised hundreds of millions of dollars to create so-called DMOS, dark matter operating system, with cognitive AI, which is to lift humanity with AI. And I became the CEO of the company. We launched the world's first AI tutor to help parents educate their toddlers. Well, parents are busy. It was pandemic, and we did a great deal of good to parents, grandparents, educators around the country. Most recently, I started a company called AnyQuest AI. The simplest way to describe it is to bring AI to your workforce that would enable your company, your employees to benefit from generative AI, which is about 1 year old. Everybody is using it. They have hundreds of millions of users almost on a daily basis. And what is lacking is really the gap between this generic big AI system versus your specific journey, your specific job, your specific responsibilities, your specific business with security, integration, and control. So that's AnyQuest AI. We're here to help business and employees, around the world.
I really look forward to digging into that specific thing that you talked about. It's not a generalized AI, it's specific. And where we're going to go with this conversation is going to really be interesting to people. But as with most people, they've kind of overcame a failure point to reach the situation where you're in now. You're at AnyQuest AI, something you started. Why did you leave the previous place to go to do this? Was there something that you knew was not working that you needed to change and do better?
DMAI was a huge success. It was very narrow for early education. When I started at DMAI, there was no LLM, the large language, model, a fundamental model that came to the world just about a year ago. I think the fundamental shift for me is that instead of staying failure per se, it's really learning from that path in terms of how we had to manually create content, manually index the content, videos, and all of that, and creating the cloud algorithm to put them together according to the curriculum. And then we had to build firmware, software for the hardware to work with, babies who are between 1 and 3 years old. It was a great experiment. Today, AI can automate lots of it. And I think AnyQuest AI is really to, as I said, to bring that human machine or human AI superpower to anyone, everyone at work, even for educators, even for public sectors, when we could have the compliance and security and the comfort, easy to use for anyone. So I think this mission is much, much bigger, learning from what I did in a somewhat painful way. Nobody believed it, and we made it happen. And this is a much, much bigger mission.
So you were totally a pioneer in the AI business as a believer, and you were an influencer back then, a pioneer who was leading others. How did you? What was the nidus that started you to believe in AI when you first started seeing the potential for it? What was that one thing you saw that led you to put your whole life into it, basically?
I had great mentors. Mark Nisberg, who's running Human Compatible AI Center at UC Berkeley, was my mentor. He was the CEO before I became the CEO at DMAI. Together with him, we actually did exclusive interviews with David Mumford, who's a scientist, mathematician at Harvard Brown, a great professor, and who won the Liberty Award from President Obama. I think it's a learning curve. I think if you're really looking at AI, you have to go beyond the science fiction. You have to even look beyond just the science and computer science. Today, for the first time in the history of humanity, AI is available as a service. Anybody could have access to it as if you have a computer, you have your smartphone, you have cloud services, you have so much technology that enabled us or democratized, the society. AI is just the next tool. We call it AI is the new electricity, and to think about it in that way.
I like that. The new electricity. The world
Thank you.
runs on electricity. The world will run on AI. It's kind of like putting thought in a fiber optic cable.
That's right.
Hey, I was walking on my morning walk trail today in the meadow, about 3 miles every morning, and I was doing AI manipulation on my iPhone as I was walking, and we were having conversations, me and another fella, about how we use our AI daily. So isn't that coincidental? You can take it anywhere, anytime now.
Correct. Yeah. That's
So
a great story.
Get back to this thing about failure, and we're kind of focused on AI.
Yeah.
Let's talk about why people have a fear of AI and why AI fails to be implemented because people fear it.
Right. I think there are three things. I would start with so-called privacy and security because it's top of mind for everyone. It is true that for 6 decades of computer technology that brings supercomputers, a graphic processing unit that enable today's generative AI for the mass audience, and with internet for the past 30 years and the mobile devices in your hand in the past almost 20 years. So all of that cumulatively kind of give us the gift of this new electricity or enabler. The truth of the matter is it's exponentially faster and more, I would say, terrifying for people.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden it's here. What are we going to do with it? So I think the key is to start with a sort of a proactive approach. That's why AnyQuest is here, to enable everybody to be a participant in that, to train your own AI assistant, to help yourself be happier, learn more, do more things with less time, having the work-life balance, if I'd say. But that has to be enabled by your management, right? Your business. There got to be investment in the literacy in terms of education. When I started at the MAI, the first thing I did, the first just 3-6 months, we created a white paper. We did interview for people to learn about AI without fear. So number one, it's really about security. It's you have to be assured that whatever that electricity is not going to consume you. It's going to enable you. I think the second part is really about the algorithm, right? Because if it's a black hole and you have no idea how the machines are manipulating things, data, knowledge, information, then there is this affair, and it's a legitimate. So by enabling everybody at your desk to have your own workspace enabled by AI, that's what we're doing. So we're doing the fundamentals. The third, just to save time, I would jump to it, is really about, I would say, the value of time and cumulatively how we can be better and more efficient, happier, leveraging technology instead of being so-called being replaced. I think the key thing to do is not to sit on the sideline and be part of it, so that you'll be on the tip of the cutting edge. Look at me. I came to this country 30 years ago. I got my first job. I had, heavy accent because I came to this country learning English with, from a foreign country. My first tool was an IBM laptop. I was the first person using laptop at my first job. That company sent me to UC Berkeley. I got my MBA, specialized in marketing. I did many startups. I launched many products, and I'm here, talking with you as an influencer for AI. It's a time. It's a time as we learn from our experience, as we learn with time and be adaptive. That's our gift as a human being. We're the most adaptive, efficient, intelligent being on Earth.
Really appreciate your point of view. And
Thank you.
You'd be glad to know we have 200 countries tuning in to watch our influencer podcast on a daily basis. When we resonate with the person, of course, the views go way up. And so, your AI podcast is going to really hit a lot of people, and it'll have high viewership, I'm sure, because it's the thing that most interests people. I did a post on Facebook yesterday, matter of fact, where I was walking in the meadow again, and I kind of did a little show and tell about how I was using ChatGPT.
Yep.
And I just happened to put ChatGPT at the very top as the header. And I got 10 times more viewships from that video.
Good for
and I
you.
know it was because the header, not because it was me in the meadow. And people are interested in AI. They certainly are. So let us know, what are your motivations now that you're you're so into this. What keeps you going?
I think this is an opportunity to transform how we work, how we live, and how we learn. It may sound like cliche and everybody is saying it, every entrepreneur is saying it, but hopefully I'm walking the walk and not just talk the talk. The reason is, for any knowledge worker, for any entry-level person, it takes tremendous time for you be on that learning curve to get information, because it's not just there. You rely on other human beings, your coworkers, your managers, your directors, your management to enable you at your job. What we try to do with all businesses is to have that AI assistant for you when you first come to your job. And it saves you tremendous time. You can learn. You have a very reliable, well-trained, proprietary workspace enabled by AI. You can converse with it with natural language processing. It will provide you synthesis, which is a summary, and data analytics to give you the insights so that you can perform better. So also, your AI assistant will be there doing some kind of job for you where you're spending time with your family, taking a vacation. And then think about this. When you retire, your influence is still there because you build that knowledge base, you build that expertise, and it's retained. And wouldn't it be awesome for you to believe that your legacy is still there? You may you'll be sailing, hiking, enjoy life after retirement. And this applies to education. I think the teacher-student ratio, the bandwidth of a teacher for every student learns differently. And we could create that space for every student to have equal access to learn on their own unique journey and to ensure that they would find their fit in colleges, work, and everything. I truly believe this is what we can do with the technology, but we have to build the ecosystem. We have to enable everybody to be part of it, not to just the tip of the world, not just the world of the billionaires. This has to come from everybody, from every day, like what you're doing on your walk. So it's very exciting.
Thank you for sharing that, Helen. That's excellent. I want to know, what is the motto that you go by at AnyQuest AI?
Security first. We protect proprietary information, knowledge. We want to build this with the leadership, with a strategy, with organization. We want to not just bring AI to the workforce, but really enable the workflow that integrate AI as the new electricity. It's something that could benefit you, but it would be heavily, integrated. It's about a unified way to approach AI as part of your core competence and strategy or daily work versus, AI as this dark force, right? And nobody knows what it's doing. It's just spitting out all the clever answers. But the most importantly is to close the loop, meaning that you can train your own. I say train your own dragon, make your AI work for you. Instead of a generic electricity or superpower, it becomes a part of your journey, your work, your life, and learning.
To me, it sounds like you're tapping into the unified consciousness of humanity when you talk about AI being your own personal dragon.
Yep. And you can do it. Today, you can do it because of ChatGPT, because of generative AI, because of the common tools and APIs you can have. So your question of top 3 success secrets that others can model from, I really think the key is walk the walk while you talk the talk. So yesterday I had a conversation with a potential investor. I went to his website and he had this, thesis in terms of investing passionate innovators who has a big vision, who can sell, meaning go to market, right? And have curiosity. So I presented myself in that way, by meeting all those criteria, but he wanted nothing to do with it. He came in, I just said, so what is it? What is it? What is your product? So it's like, as you and I are having this dialogue, we're having this dialogue with a lot of people, audience from the world. I think what is true with life is that you got to apply the principle to yourself. I think the second part is be always learning. You never know, whatever you're doing today, what you could do tomorrow. I've gone through education, EdTech, interactive media for children. I've gone through digital media, advertising, PR. I've gone through IoT, Internet of Things, and then now I'm in AI. So really, life is a journey that you could create your own success. You've got to believe in that. I think the third part is really kind of enjoy your village, build your village. Nobody can succeed without a community, a village for yourself, an ecosystem who can contribute to whatever you're doing. So, and that's what we're doing with, AnyQuest.ai. That's why I'm here having this dialogue with Dr. Bill, and we want to build our AI enterprise platform with a village, with a community, with the ecosystem.
That leads us perfectly into the next question. I want to ask, though, before we get to this question, which is a fundamental one.
Yeah.
Everybody understands sort of what AI is based on what has showed up in the marketplace. Mm-hmm. And I guess the 300-pound gorilla is ChatGPT right now. Okay, so you have that concept of what's out there.
Right.
I want you to relate what people think about and what they know about that product, and then relate it to what is AnyQuest AI. Tell us the similarities and the differences, and give us a sense of the universe of AI right now as it exists, so people can kind of understand the landscape. Because I know from my point of view, I know so little that I don't know how to evaluate what's coming up, what's coming onto my screen when I get bombarded with things about, you need this from this about AI, you need this. And everybody seems to be rallying around 3 different companies that have come up with an AI model. So make some sense for us before you tell us where you fit on that landscape.
Right. So, as I said, AI has existed for a very long time. It's a computer science to train machines and computers to mimic what human intelligence is, right? So you have natural language processing, you have computer vision for you to hear, say, look, recognize things, and you have robotics to get machines or, robots to kind of have that capability to do tasks that human may or may not want to do ourselves. And then really the upper level is about machine learning, deep learning, logic of thinking. You call it expert systems, so that somewhat become more, automatic as an agent that perform tasks with logic thinking. And you say somewhat fuzzy logic, as we have more computing power today, that is not just recognizing, Dr. Bill as Dr. Bill or chair as a chair, ocean as an ocean. That's basic sort of just understanding of the world using, artificial intelligence versus human intelligence. Believe it or not, it, takes a tremendous effort, computing power, data to get to that point. So the way I would look at it, as simple as this. So you have big companies, OpenAI, Microsoft, Meta, Google, and others who are investing billions of dollars, lots of computing power to make the LLM more and more powerful. And then you will have a lot of developers, entrepreneurs that are developing applications. You have a Harvey.ai helping, legal firms to process paperwork and learn about cases more efficiently. You have, others who help marketers to create content faster. And you have people who are actually launching companion chatbots with AI so that you are not so lonely. It will help you to build the next relationship. So there are lots of them out there. What we did as AnyQuest AI is really that the middleware that is agnostic to either the LLM, the foundation models, or the applications. We are, working with the businesses instead of individuals. So anybody could use ChatGPT today, but ChatGPT is a very generic thing. It's powerful, but it doesn't have a particular sort of memory or relationship with individuals. But when you come to your desk, no matter what you're doing, either you're at AT&T trying to, sell the next iPhone 15 Pro to your customers, or you come to, marketing service company and try to create social media posts for 10 different clients, you would have the relative information and the knowledge management system, so you can have the inquiry with your AI assistant that could be connected to your management, the rest of the ecosystem you are working in, and then it gives you tremendous efficiency. So you are leveraging everything from ChatGPT. Why not? And it's not just the text, but also image coding, for example. But you would have more of a system for yourself, and that with the loop in terms of learning, as you are using it, it becomes more of your, secret sauce for your job. Help you to learn faster, help you to manage information better, help you get answers fast, better answers, and create more content and interact with your customers and do a lot of things based on your own intelligence, your capability. And that is the mode for AnyQuest, because the more users or the more adoption, the more specific data, and it's very secured in your vault, I'd say. We have our middleware platform would ensure the security and compliance. Then you can grow on your own. So I can say 3-5 years from now, the people who adopt AI, adaptive in this, transformative revolution of technology, would have more of a competitive advantage versus the others. And we're here to help.
That's very helpful. You define the map very well. You are middleware in the Middle Kingdom.
We connect the dots.
You do.
We provide the fundamental infrastructure, and then we allow you now to just connect with the LLMs, the powerful, vendors of different generative AI, models from the big infrastructure companies. But we also provide plugins with enterprise applications today and in the future.
Does that mean that you will be developing in vertical markets more specific expertise for them to do a better job? And
Absolutely.
that's
Yeah.
who your main target will be?
So we are horizontal as we're agnostic across different industries, but I can imagine that as of today, the knowledge workers, the professional services companies, where you have lots of people, entry level or not, that who need that information and that flow of communication and who can benefit from generative AI's superpower and efficiency for content creation and hyper personalization. It's the speed, it's a volume, and but above all, it's really the expertise, is the professionalism, it's your proprietary way or your knowledge that can be preserved, enhanced, and utilized for your business and your job.
I like it. I like the idea that it can be customized to your particular personality too.
Yeah, and that's all in your hands. We provide no code, low code tools, so you create your own, with our help, with our platform.
I
And
want
so
it
that
already. It sounds so good.
right.
Who's your ideal client? You talked about mid-level services.
Yeah.
Who would be the actual client you'd be looking for?
I would say in this country and around the world, we're speaking with a lot of people. We're partnering with the consulting companies who are helping, large, mid, small businesses. I think we're helping the innovative business leaders who want to create the next cutting edge competitive advantage, who want to grow their business faster with more efficiency, who care about their employees and want to empower them to do their job better, more efficiently. So our ideal clients are, in the financial services, in professional services, in marketing, agencies, whatnot, and many, contractors who, getting contracts and have to write a lot of RFPs, and even public sector and education down the road. So, this is a blue ocean opportunity, and we want to make a difference for everyone.
In search of whales in the blue ocean. I like that.
Thank you.
How do you find the clients? How do you fish?
Well, by speaking with you. I think it's really a B2B lead generation by, speaking with people and make people aware, right? This is marketing is very, very important. I actually wrote Medium articles about how marketing is essential, is make or break for any business. I think we have to build that awareness. We are partnering with channel partners who are serving their clients, and their clients are very, very curious but cautious about generative AI and AI in general. So, as I said, we're building the little village, we're expanding the village, we're amplifying our message, we're low code, no code middleware platform for enterprises to bring AI to their workforce.
That was a great elevator speech.
Thank you.
I went from the first floor to the 99th floor with that speech. That was good. So you're crushing the competition, obviously. What are you doing that puts your name, your company at the forefront?
Be consistent. It takes 7 times for any human being to, remember anything. So if we change our message all the time, people would not remember what it is, right? And also, it's just to make it simple, right? Like how you ask me very complex questions, and I'm trying to communicate in a simplified way, which is really, I think that's what that matters. Remember, how AnyQuest would help your business, and we're trying to enable and grow AQ versus IQ and EQ, we really believe that AQ is going to be the core competitive advantage versus IQ and EQ.
And
They're all
AQ,
comprehensive.
AQ is again what?
IQ, EQ, and now is AQ.
So what does A mean?
AI, yeah.
Artificial
artificial intelligence,
intelligence.
quotient versus, intelligence as IQ, emotional intelligence as EQ, and then now we need the AQ, which is AI. But I think AQ sounds better, and that's AnyQuest.
I like it. That's good. IQ,
EQ, and then now AQ. Yes.
Did you coin that term yourself, Helen?
Yes.
You're going to be remembered for some things in the next century. It may be the queen of AQ.
Yes.
So, platforms that you use, any particular thing you want to recommend?
The 3 online platforms you and your company rely on. So give me a little bit clarification.
Well,
when you say platform, what does it mean?
Yeah, this is more of a marketing question, so it's really not about the online platform. But does your AI that you're using at AnyQuest, is that a particular language you're being programmed in, or what is that?
Right. So as I said, we are basically leveraging the API AI as a service today from the LLMs that are available for the world. We're building the middleware platform that could plug into other enterprise applications. So the top 3 online platforms my company rely on, I do believe that, in general, we're all connected into Microsoft Open AI, Google, and we're trying to be, cloud or the LLM agnostic. I think it's a great thing that we have those capabilities, and that there are hardware companies or chip manufacturers like NVIDIA and all of that, have to keep up with the demand for the supercomputing power to continue to support the advancement of AI. I think we're part of the ecosystem. We're working with, I wouldn't say all of them, but we're trying to be an integrator. And on the other side, you have Salesforce CRM system, and you have other applications that are, advancing really fast. You have co-pilots with Confluence and, helping engineers to code. And all of that are in our ecosystem today. So that's why it's so exciting as we are, building partnerships and integration.
Super duper. And we're glad to get the breakdown, because really, with all the novices that are listening about AI, putting it in perspective today, not just to understand your business, but just understanding AI in general is really helpful. So you're doing a real service to the audience right now. What are you grateful for today? You've been in the U.S. for 30 years. What's your most grateful thing about being in this position as a CEO, founder of a major company?
CEO or not, I think just being an entrepreneur, being a co-founder, working with my co-founder, Dimitri Trevdik, we worked together for the past decade. We collaborated partners when I had my previous startup and he had his. I'm grateful for the freedom, the American dream. It may sound like, cliche, like everybody say the same thing, but truthfully, I raised 2 children. One of them is also entrepreneur. He's, David Thomas is, only 21, and he started his own company. Not every country, not everywhere you could do that. Yeah. And I think it is an open forum, and I like AI to be more accessible. I like more people to, to build, or train your own dragon with our help. There's tremendous information, and by no means, I'm not a scientist per se. I'm not an engineer. I'm a entrepreneur and had MBA in marketing, and I could be here and having this dialogue with you and telling everybody my dream with AQ and AnyQuest. I'm, tremendously grateful for this opportunity. Thank you for having me here.
You grew through so many career paths to get to be the queen of AI, an influencer. Is there a lesson out there for those listening that you need marketing expertise to make any engineering savant successful? Because an engineer basically can't do it for the most part. It takes somebody with business smarts to get the word out. So you're an example that, every company needs a Helen Fu Thomas.
I truly believe so. I think sometimes the people are oversimplifying the power of data. People don't quite understand that it takes, a lot to build Rome. And user insights, understanding your consumer, your customer, and bring that insights and in a collaborative way with engineers. And as I said, AI wouldn't do good if we don't have the right algorithm out there. When I created the world's first AI tutor, we had educators, we had top-notch animators, content producers, and we had, experts for preschool curriculum, so that we have the scopes and sequence, we have the way for the cloud computing to push the right content at the right time for every toddler who has our tutor. I mean, it takes a thoughtful, consistent, resilient way to make that happen. And it's not easy. So one thing we have to recognize as we're speaking today is nothing is easy. Success is not easy. If it's easy, anybody can do it. And obviously it's not. And you've got to, be consistent. And the marketing as an essential part of any business, from the product, the price, the place, the promotion, to the content, the communication, and conversion, but the community. So the 4 P's plus 4 C's is what I am living by. Is my marketing playbook is on Medium, Helen Fu Thomas channel is on LinkedIn. Once again, it's Helen Fu Thomas. And I'm trying to just make it accessible for anyone who wants to build your own success.
Thank you for that. I mean, you gave us the whole picture of what's going on and how to reach you and where your information can be found. So excellent job. Tell us, you're looking back and you're saying, oh, Helen, when you're 20 years old, what are you going to tell your young self?
Well, my son is 21 years old and he doesn't even need my advice nowadays. I would not have changed anything. I've gone through lots of ups and downs of failures and successes, helped lots of people. Not everybody gets me. I think you just have to embrace your journey and learn. It's all about learning, no matter what age, what stage. As long as you keep learning and you're inspired to do something, make a difference, solve problems, big problems, small problems. And as long as you can solve problems with innovation, you will create value for this world.
Yeah, it seems to me that first generation immigrants are the hardest working people, and they are driven to succeed. So it's good to see, the great example you've set for so many young women.
Thank you.
How did you get to meet your partner and co-founder in business? How did y'all begin this process?
Right. That's a interesting story. So in 2014, I was recruited to become the CEO and co-founder of a company called TouchJet. We use computer vision to mimic touch and use projectors and large televisions to turn them into touchscreen. So as I had the hardware and the technology, I wanted to have applications for businesses and the schools to use the hardware for collaborative learning or meetings in classrooms and conference rooms. And as such, when I did the demonstration, I used the Mighty Meeting. Mighty Meeting is a mobile application. It's almost like Zoom, but it allows you to have access, annotate on presentations from any device. So as I kept using Mighty Meeting for my devices, having meetings with customers and the investors, Dimitri called me and said, "Who are you? Why are you using my, product so intensively? And you're a paid customer. You can see in the back end, I'm using this." And that's how we met. And that's almost 10 years ago. And now with generative AI, with enterprise, with businesses, he and I are the best team together because he has a stellar career from Computer Associates and several of his startups, including Mighty Meeting, which was sold to Progress Software, a public company. And then now we can build AnyQuest from ground up. I can't have a better partner than Dimitri for this opportunity.
Well, that's the serendipity of life. You run into people,
Yeah.
whatever. And I believe in the same thing. I live in the same town as a friend named Mohammed Sadiq, and he is an entrepreneur from Pakistan.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell him that we met 15 years ago, but he didn't remember me. And we were at a Taco Mac, having dinner.
Yep.
And we knew each other from online presence. We were both entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And he is a immigrant from Pakistan, of course, and I'm a dentist. My ancestors came over from England in the 1600s, so long time ago. And we formed a kind of a friendship and started doing business together online. And we've met in Suwanee, Georgia, because we live about 2 miles from each other. It just turned out.
Wow.
And so now he's my accountability partner. We walk every morning and talk about
awesome.
AI.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like serendipity.
Yes.
Who would have thought?
Yep. 100%.
Tell us who's your living mentor right now?
Oh, wow. That's a tough question. I have been so fortunate. I would always go back to my first mentor who hired me. Literally, Chuck Smutney, who was my first boss, who hired me even before I got my MBA. I found this a tiny little, job posting on the newspaper, San Francisco Chronicle, that was 1993. I applied. Back then, you had to mail in your resume. Why not? And the Chuck interviewed me, and he walked me to the elevator after the interview, and they said, "Well, Helen, you came all the way from Beijing with your bachelor degree in international finance. You went to Halifax, Canada, and came to the Bay Area. And today you met with me. And I think you deserve to have a chance." That was the game changer for my career. So I just have to say, with many, many mentors I had since then, Chuck is always my living mentor.
What a great story.
I know. It takes a great mind to recognize somebody like from far, far away. And the first thing I came to the office, SNW Fine Food, well, it still has secretary using typewriter, and you still have managers hand over handwritten notes for someone to type up your pricing or whatever, and a fax to somebody, use a fax machine over the country or overseas. I was the first one who used IBM laptop, and they did a lot of great things with technology at a very traditional consumer packaged good company.
Hey, good job. What year was that you got your IBM laptop?
Yep. I mean, I was like, hey, I'm grateful to be here, but I'm not using a typewriter. I need a laptop.
What year was it you got that laptop?
Which year was it? That was 1994. Yeah.
1994. My goodness.
Yeah.
My first computer that I used was 1981.
Yeah.
In dental practice, it was not a PC. It was not an Apple. It was before they were invented. It was basically Alpha Micro operating system. And that was a big one.
Yeah.
But
wow,
who
you
would
were
have
an
known?
early adopter for sure, Dr. Bill.
Many people came and went since that time.
Yep.
I always tell people I made the mistake. I bought the ATT 6300 from AT&T instead of the IBM PC.
Yeah.
And it set me back a long way when I didn't learn DOS, because Amos software, it never developed any software products. It was just a computer that nobody wanted to program for. Hey, let's talk about what you want to be remembered for. You definitely have a story, you have a product.
You're so thorough.
What's the long range plan? What do you want to be remembered for in the world?
I think I'm always going to be remembered as a mother. I know I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a founder, I'm about to raise lots of money, I want to build a unicorn. But I think there's nothing more important as we learn how to educate and collaborate and think about the next generations, with many, many opportunities as well as many, many challenges. I think throughout my whole career, when I traveled the world, when I built startups, when I was a CEO of, public company and, different branches around the world, I was always a mom for my two children and make sure that they have the right values. And without me, they can still thrive and build their own journey. So that's my little impact, on this world by bringing David and Catherine to the world. That's what I'm going to be remembered for sure.
You come back full circle to the balance of life.
Yes.
And that was the purpose of your company.
Yes.
Bringing balance to the family, give people more time so they don't have to work as hard to get the same result.
100%. I mean, it's so easy with the computer power to train the supercomputer to do your, ACT or your, a pass the bar for being a lawyer and all of that. Yes, you could do it in an exponential way. You still have to spend the time, allow the children to grow, developing their skills. There is this 10,000 hour rule for anyone to master any skills. So you cannot bypass that. We have to remember, humans, as we have our brain, we're adaptive and we are so creative. We solve lots of problems. We create technology to make our life better, make our work better. We still have to allow our children to grow, be educated, and allow them to have a path for happiness, health, and success. You can't change that, no matter how powerful the computers are.
Absolutely. I mean, time saving is a big issue today. Everybody wants it. I was doing an interview with somebody this week that is a programmer.
Yeah.
And they program in AI, but they say they don't know Java. But they said they program in Java every day because the AI does it for them.
Yes. Yeah.
We're opening up some really interesting doors when you can leverage with AI.
Yeah. Yep. So they saved your tremendous training. You can apply your insight. You can be creative. You can have applications to solve problems, small and big. I mean, it really is, level playing field right now with the generative AI. That is the power. That's the new electricity for
and
us.
Again, I like your tagline, no coding. What was it?
No code, low code development tools to bring AI to your workforce. It's a middleware for enterprise.
That bears repeating, it's so good.
Thank you.
Tell us, how can we support you? Give us one more time the way to reach you or connect to you.
Yes, very simple. AnyQuest.ai. AnyQuest stands for any question, but also is standing for AQ for the future. We help businesses to bring AI to your workforce, to integrate generative AI in your workflows with, security and control. And I'm Helen Fu Thomas, and you can find me on Medium and LinkedIn, username Helen Fu Thomas. So I have articles about marketing, AI, parenting, all of that. So thank you so much, Dr. Bill, for having me today.
Absolutely. It was a joy to have you. You pretty much said everything that needs to be said about your guest experience, so I won't ask you to embellish that. We've had fun. But I do want to give you...
you're very relatable. I love the dialogue. It's a two-way street, and your serendipity, your early adoption of computer, internet, all of that, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm also a guerrilla marketing person, certified by Jay Conrad Levinson, actually.
Wow.
You know Jay.
Yep. So we definitely share lots of experience and professional.
Jay told me he trained Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg at times. So I want to give you the final word, then I'll come back and speak with you, but I want you to speak to our audience and give them your best in your...
Well, it's great to be here with Dr. Bill. As I said, AI is the new electricity, and the AnyQuest.ai is here to help businesses to bring AI to your workforce. AI is here, so recognize it, use it, train your own dragon, and create your competitive advantage as a business, as a student, as whatever you're doing. I truly believe it's going to transform how we work, how we learn, and how we live. So thank you so much for having me. I'm Helen Fu Thomas, co-founder of AnyQuest.ai. Thank you.
Everybody needs a .ai in their life, I think. My QR code up there is where you can begin to capture some of the freedom that we're talking about with AI, by the way. Helen, do you know what that means? It goes to my digital business card, that QR code, which I made with my software, which is available. If you go on my QR code, you'll find two things. One of them is all about the podcast. Where are they kept? They're kept on drbillwilliams.tv. when it's running, that is, we had a major virus attack on our server where I kept it, and it's no longer kept at that place. I have to tell you, we have to redo our entire website this week because it got a virus.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm moved to a new host.
I'm so sorry.
We have to do that, but it'll be back next week, and you'll see all the podcasts, and I'll put yours up. You can find your podcast today on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. So it's already out live, this wonderful podcast episode with Helen Fu Thomas.
Thank you.
You'll also find on that business card that I showed you, you'll find AI technology. You know, Helen, it turns out that I'm an AI advocate, and I really am looking at the consumer-facing side of it.
Sure.
Building applications that consumers will use in their daily life to make life easier.
Mm-hmm.
So one of them is a QR code maker and a URL shortener called OTrim. Right. Yep. We give this away free. So I want to offer that to anybody that's listening, anybody that's in the audience wants a free QR code maker or a link shortener. And it also tracks very well where the QR code comes from, who opens it and what they do. So we're looking at you going, thank you for, being here when we do that. We're also talking about video platform. People are looking at video platforms in different ways to expand their business, aren't they?
Yes.
And we've included AI in our OConnect.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them that is exciting is we have noise cancellation. So if you've got noise in the background, it only hears your voice. So it's going to tune out everything else. A simple way to use AI, but
very useful.
It's a difference. What about language processing? I'm speaking in English, but I don't understand Mandarin. Do you think perhaps it would be a good thing to have a video platform that could actually go into China or Japan or Russia or India and be understood at the same moment by those four populations?
I think that is very much doable. Very much doable. Yeah.
It is. And we've already done it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that you will be able to hear that soon. AI is probably at the root of these things. I don't think it's done by any other method, right?
Right. Yeah.
AQ is here and it's here to stay. So
thank you.
Thank you all. If you want to connect with me, go to any of these URLs and we will be glad to share. Many of these things that we have are free. We give them away. And many of them may be small cost, but far less than anybody else on the market. So that's our business plan, is to give away stuff and introduce ourselves to the world. So Helen, thank you for being an excellent guest, explaining AI, which is very important, a big need for our audience. And if I can be of service to you guys, be sure and let me know. And
for sure.
I had a good time talking with you today. This is Dr. Bill Williams on the Influencer Podcast. We'll be back with you on Monday with another version, another session with some wonderful folks just like Helen.
Thank you, Dr. Bill.
You're so welcome.